Hello everyone, welcome back to Manufactoria 2022. I think near the end of the last episode, I claimed we were going to head on to Endgame soon. But then I kind of looked back at some of the puzzles that I had skipped, and I thought I should at least give some of them a try. In particular, we never really tried even looking at any of these puzzles here. I did look briefly at Jean's Distressor off camera, and it seems like it should be doable, so I thought let's have a go. Distressed, pre-ripped jeans were all the rage a few years back. Of course, style came with a high price tag. Why not build a robot that would tear up your existing jeans and get the same look cheaper? So this one has... I mean, we've seen this goal before. Number of reds equal number of blues. But there were several differences at the time. First of all, we had access to green and yellow. But this one, since we don't have that, in this one there's a constraint on the input, which is that we're guaranteed that all the reds come before all the blues. Also, I don't know if this has been in any of the other levels, but there's actually like a limit on the number of scanners. It says like you only get 9 of them, so it's like not just a limit on scanners and stampers combined for metals, but like for correctness, I guess. So if you use more than 9, you lose. But I mean, I don't know. I have an idea in mind for how to solve this. I haven't counted how many scanners it would use. We're so used to living in the future that we might think, let's stamp the beginning and end of the input and run over it multiple times. But we don't have to, because we can already tell when we're at the beginning and the end of the input. We're at the end of the input when we switch from blue to red, right? So all we need to do is go over the tape, removing the first red and then the first blue, and then looping again. And if we ever can't remove a blue after removing a red, or no, there is a difficulty. Suppose that the input is 0 reds and 1 blue. If I then just say, I'll allow the transition from blue to red, tell me when I've reached the end of the tape, I would never finish. Oh wait, but maybe that's okay. Because if there's 0 reds and 1 blue... No. 0 reds and 1 blue I would handle, because I would be at the start of the loop, and I'd say, didn't find any reds. Were there any blues? Yep, throw it in the garbage. But 1 red and 2 blue is harder, because we'll go through the loop, and we'll remove a red and we'll remove a blue, and then we'll keep looping through the blues trying to find where the reds start, and we'll fail, right? So we can't do that. There's a couple things that occur to me. One is, maybe we could just stamp a red on at the beginning, so there's always guaranteed to be at least 1 red, and we'll just, not count that one. And we'll, repeat it every time we loop around. But if I do that, and I exhaust the blues before the reds, then I think I'll have a similar problem, which is that I won't know when I've finished reading all the reds. I'll just have this 1 red that I'll keep reading and writing over and over. So I don't think that's any good. I think we have to take a page out of the Sandwich Police book. Or actually, yeah, Sandwich Police, right? This was the one where... where it was obviously impossible to just, throw an extra blue on the end. And so what we did was we maintained the invariant that there was always at least 1 in each of these groups. Instead of when we try to read an empty thing, we break when we were about to write an empty set. So I think that same idea should work here, but I'm not sure how much pressure it puts us under for scanner count. We do have to handle an empty list. And we also, it seems, have to handle a single red or a single blue. And all of those violate my invariant that there's at least one of each. Right? So, what if I start before doing anything? Not as part of my main loop, but just as part of the initialization. If I write blue-red onto the tape, that way the blues and reds will still be contiguous, and I'll know there's at least one of each, right? And I'll be kind of past having read the first red. But that's okay, because that's part of the loop we'll be going through every time. We'll always read the first red. And then I can try to maintain the invariant that there's always at least one of each. Let's have a go at that. So we write a blue-red. And then we know... The problem is, I still don't actually know that... that there's at least one red in front of us, do I? I don't, right? If the input is empty, or just if there were no reds in the input, there might be only blues in front of me. Is that okay? I think it probably is, as long as I treat this position as being kind of after having found the first red. Ah. Maybe I treat this as after having found the first red but not written it? So I don't write the red yet? I just write a blue. So I kind of imagine that I've read the one red that I guarantee is on the tape, but I'm holding off on writing it until I see if there are any more reds. So... if I do see a red, then I know there was at least one red. And I furthermore know there's at least one blue still coming up on the tape, because that's an invariant I plan to maintain. So, sorry, if I see one red, then I know there... obviously I know there's one still at least on the tape, but there's also the one I just read, which is the one I'm kind of removing. So I think I can just copy reds here. And when I run into a blue, which is guaranteed to happen eventually, I will have written one fewer red than there was when I started. But How am I preventing that number from reaching 0? I guess after I read the blue, only then I rewrite the red that I was hanging on to that I found at the beginning of the loop. And so I know there's a red in front of me somewhere. At this point, have I even reduced the number of reds at all? I feel like I have not. Because I read one red at some... I haven't even put the things down for it. We're pretending I entered this loop sometime after reading a red. Then I copy all the reds, and I put another red down. So that's not making any progress, right? Maybe that's not quite what I do. I've found a single red. I know there's a blue left somewhere, so this can't be white. If I find a... No, wait. I think what I had was okay. I just have to remember what situation I'm finding myself in. So at some point in here, I have a scanner that looks like this. Reading a red that I know exists. Right, but I can't... I still can't write it. Because then I would be... Okay, so... I read one red. I copy all the reds that I see after that. Remember, this is just the initial setup. And at some point, I will see a blue. This is a guarantee. What do I do about that? I think I can't start by copying all reds. Because then I can't tell if, like, if I'm on the last red ever, right? I think I need to, like, have a scanner, right? And if I see... I need to know whether this scanner sees any reds or not, basically. Because if it sees no reds, then I'm totally out of red. And I should expect to find exactly one blue. Because the phantom red has already been consumed. And I couldn't find any more reds. So I go consume the phantom blue, and if there's anything left after that, I bail. I think I probably want this mirrored. There's room for something over here. If I do read a second red, great. At this point, I stamp on one of the two reds. And I copy reds until I see a blue. Which again is guaranteed to happen. Oh, hang on, this could be better. We can just do that. Copy reds until I see a blue. Now, this blue we can regard as our phantom blue. And so I need to look again and find a second blue. If I can't find a second blue, it means I removed a red, but there wasn't a blue to remove. So I just junk it. I know there was a red there, so that's fine. Having found a blue, I now copy all the remaining blues, right? This is supposed to be higher. There we go. I read two blues and then I start copying. And if we read a red, this is our phantom red, right? And so we want to get into this state. That was, we kind of assumed this is where we would be re-entering. So I think I can do that. This doesn't look convincing. But let's see what happens. So say I wanted to test the empty tape. Can I solve that? That would be nice, right? So I wrote blue, red. I read a blue. Ah. Right. The problem is that I actually wrote to the tape my phantom red. Whereas in my algorithm, I was assuming that the phantom red was just in my head. So is it possible that I'm meant to do that? I don't think so, because then there's no phantom red anywhere, right? If I do this, I put in a blue. If I read that blue, then I go here, which seems correct, because if I read only that blue, rather, then the tape was empty and I go here. If I read two blues, then I go here, and that's correct, because there were more blues than reds, at least 1 and 0. Is it possible that I could read blue and then red? No. Because all the blues are after all the reds, and I haven't written any reds. So okay, we stamp a blue, and we get to here. I don't know, this looks okay. So let's try the, we ran in our heads the empty tape. And it was indeed correct. So let's say there's just one red. What should happen is we read that red and we duplicate it so that there's kind of that just the phantom red still on the tape. And then we read one blue. And there was still a red left, so we throw it away. Okay. And if we instead had a blue on the tape? Well, we knew that's no good. Now the exciting thing, what if we had red-blue? This is like the exciting one, I think. We write a blue. We read a red and repeat it. We read a blue. And then a second blue. And we stamp a blue on. And now we have just our phantom inputs, right? The red's removed. The blue's removed. And by God, it gets accepted. All right, run them all. Show me how bad it is. It ain't bad at all. All right. Obviously, I can fix the area up. I asked Suki what the long-term plans for these robots was, and was startled when Suki said there wasn't one. Cyber Prophet predicted our tech would cause changes that would wipe out any plans we made. What changes? What should we do about them? They were still figuring that out. So obviously, there's a big area improvement, like that, right? Because we weren't using this space anyway. So 18 is pretty good, I think. I don't know, who am I to say? Let's look at the scores. 8 is the best here, and I beat you on area just a tiny bit, you sucker. Got him. Yeah, what a pleasant idea. I would need to speed it up a tiny bit to get the time medal. And these two conveyor belts are the obvious candidates, right? But it's always tricky. You can't just like rotate you can't just like pull these two out and then close the gap, because some things have to be on corners and some things have to be on straightaways when you're looking at scanners. But I mean, it should be doable somehow. Where's some place we could... Oh, jeez. Like, suppose that we made this a 3x2 instead of a 4x2. That would be ideal, right? But what I'm running into is, where could I enter that loop? I mean, I guess here. I could enter on this if it were facing to the right. So this would then have to be the top left corner instead of the top right corner, sort of. Or wait, I could just enter here, right? Its white end is not being used. Okay. Now, this scanner has to be on a straightaway, right? In order for this to work at all. Because we want to turn on this one, I think. Am I wrong? Do we not have to do that? We do, right? Because we need blue to be on the track and red to be off it. No, that could... I mean, that has to be on a corner, right? Because blue and red are opposite each other. If they were on a straightaway, they would both be on the track? That's not true. If blue were here... Well, that's a corner, though. If blue were here, yeah. So you can't... This has to be on a corner. One of the 4 corners. And this has to be on a straightaway, I believe. And this comes 2 steps after this. So if the thing's going to work at all, this has to be on... We have to rotate it kind of clockwise and also strip these out. So let's just move this over here and kind of make a copy of this based on what I believe is true. So it'll let me put in excess scanners, by the way. It just like, I don't think it'll let you run. It doesn't count as success. So suppose we take this thing, and we need red to lead to a fire, and blue to lead to continuing, right? So that's fine, we can do that. And then I need a blue stamper. Here's the problem. This has to be on a straightaway, doesn't it? Well, it's blue. Wait, something got messed up here. Yeah, it's blue has to come back to here, to this node. Which means its red has to go this way, and then we're toast. Well, no. I mean, okay, this could also be on the same corner it is. It could be on the right corner, right? We could have something that looks like this. If we could just shorten this up to being two ticks. What would that look like? Well, we'd need a red stamper here to go into this, obviously. This would be the tricky part, I think. No, not tricky at all. Totally works. If, I just need a red that leads into here and a blue that leads off the track. And that's that, right? So observe, by the way, it does let me place more of these. You just can't hit run because you're using too many scanners. So the blue end of this needs to lead up to this nonsense where we toss this stuff in the fire. We don't care what red does, and we accept this. Now, here's a problem, I think. Wait, oh, this doesn't go here. No, no problem, no problem. I'm just bad. It has to go like this. And now, here is where we can put our initial state. Right? Because this state is isomorphic to this one. And we can enter it through the white end. So, just erase all this. Put a blue stamper in, and the start point, right? This looks like the efficient, fast solution. Hertz for area. But there you go, squeezed under. Now, who is this cheeky, pleasing fungus devil who beat me by 1? What did I do to deserve that? Surely he didn't somehow avoid writing the extra blue to begin with. That would be quite a miracle, I think. How are other folks doing? Okay, 5... Oh, we used 8 or fewer, okay. Who are all these people who are winning with 12 or 13? That's not even... Or 11 or 12, that's not even allowed anymore. Oh no, scanners and stampers, I see. Right, I used 8 total, 5 and 3. Nobody did fewer than that. Wow, you can do insane on time. Is there some, like, cheese going on here? No, you've got zillions of inputs. How do What? It's my slowest input. A lot of reds and a lot of blues. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess. I forgot these inputs aren't very interesting. They're just reds and blues, and the more of them you have, the longer it takes. Huh. One faster, you say? Well, is it possible that I could insert myself somewhere else into this pipeline at a time when, like, we don't need to stamp on a virtual blue to have something happen? Maybe we could reuse this red or something, right? The problem is stamping on a virtual red doesn't help you, because you don't yet know there are any blues coming. So if you start copying reds, you might just die. Could I enter here? No. Well... no. Yeah, I don't know. It's a mystery. Let's have a look at the other red puzzle in this area. No guarantees I'm going to be able to solve it today, but let's think about it at least. Fruit Crusher. Humanity was forced to make an impossible choice, Chuki told me. Fast food was unhealthy, and healthy food was far too much work to prepare. Our first step towards solving it, a robot that crushed fruit, making healthful shakes for you in your own home. Making healthful shakes for you in your own home. I don't know, lots of ways you could emphasize that sentence. Insert a blue into the middle of the tape, which is filled only with reds. Having 0... So what are you supposed to do if it's empty? Add a blue. Okay. We have a scanner limit again of 10. So what kind of algorithm would you do for this? I mean, you could try just tossing a blue on right away. That's probably useful. Because otherwise, anything you do that involves looping on reds is going to go forever. So you probably want to write a blue. That's probably step 1. But then what? In some sense, when you've written a blue, the tape is already correct. It's just rotated wrong. Right? But how does that help? Another thing you could try would be putting a blue after every red. Not totally sure why that would help. But I guess if you did that, well, no. I was thinking you could then work from the outside in, removing the blue from the outermost red, and then the red and the the leftmost and the rightmost red, and keep going, right? But you don't know where outermost and innermost are. right? The only way you can tell you're at the start or the end of the tape is by some defining feature. And if the tape is reds, there is no such defining feature. And likewise, if it's red-blue alternating, there's no defining feature. There's only such a defining feature if you write one by putting a blue at the end. And then you have to somehow move half of the reds past the blue. I mean, it's easy to move one of them past the blue. You just copy... Well, you consume one of the reds, copy reds till you reach blue, write the blue, write a red. Now you know that there's exactly one red to the right of the blue. But how do you know that that's the right number? Or that it's not the right number, which usually it won't be. Suppose that we have a tape. Well, maybe I should be putting thought into, like, detecting the win condition. And then how to get there is sort of easy, right? You just go forever copying one red from the left and putting it on the right until you reach the win condition. I think this is probably not going to be a fruitful way of thinking, but let's suppose that it were, for want of any better ideas. Maybe it will lead me somewhere better. So, if we have a tape that has some unknown number of reds, and then a blue, and then some unknown number of reds, how can we tell that the two unknowns are the same? Well, I could write a second blue after I've gotten to the first one, and or maybe before I start reading any of the reds even. Then the tape would look like blue, reds, blue, reds. And then if I wanted to, I could, like, keep consuming one red from each group until I run out. And then I would know, oh, I reached the boundary of the win condition. But I don't know how many to put back, right? I can't just accept, right? I have to actually produce the blue there. So I can't do, like, a destructive test. I would need a non-invasive test for an equal number of reds on each side of the blue. And there's just no such thing, right? I mean, I guess another thought is that I can do anything I want with blue symbols. I know there was never any blue on the input, and so any blues that I find in the tape, I must have put there myself. Okay, so what? Got no clue. I read a red and replace it with... I mean, I could replace it with blue-red or with red-blue. Probably blue-red would be more interesting, because then I could tell when I'd finished doing that to all of them, because the first symbol would be blue, I guess. But if I had a bunch of blue-red pairs, what the hell? Who cares, right? I don't see how to make progress towards moving some of the reds left of a blue, or right of a blue if you... And there can be up to 30 reds, so it's not like we can cheese this somehow. Especially not with only 10 scanners. This, like, a non-destructive test is so hard. Because the only way you can store any, like, integers is on the tape. And the only way you can read integers is by destroying them. And doing something with them. In the process of destruction, not create some other side effect. Wait a minute. Is this not hard at all? I don't think that's true. No, I just had an idea that doesn't work. My thought was, suppose that I write a blue to the tape. And then I consume reds in pairs. I consume a pair of reds, and then I write one of them to the end of the tape. Then I've achieved my goal of having, in this example, 3 reds on one side of the tape. But I don't have 3 reds on the other side of the tape, because I destroyed them. So for each pair of reds that I read, it does seem like reading a pair of reds is really important somehow. Because if you read a pair of them, you can, like... Let's say you read a red, then you write red-blue, then you read another red, and you write red again. In some sense, you've now put a blue in between those 2 reds. That's basically the same, I suppose, as reading 2 reds and then writing red, blue, red. which is fine. It works very well for 2. But what do you do if there are 4 reds? Does writing red, blue, red again help you somehow? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know. I'm stumped on this one. I think we're gonna admit defeat again. You know, at least this time we looked at it. And in this video, we did complete Jean's Distressor, which I think was a fun challenge. I'm still happy with the area solution. Very pretty. And I guess, are there any... I don't think there's any others I really want to revisit. I'm leaving these alone still. The challenge we can get to someday, but I'm in no rush, yeah. And the next episode, we're gonna actually move on to Endgame. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.